Yeah, I want to talk about this weekend with the NBA. I'm just starting this, weekly video blog. Just talk about things that's happening in the NBA, my perspective on it. Just been, just an avid NBA junkie, like anybody else out there. Just watching, just covering the things. But right now, first thing I'm going to talk about is the Hawks. Atlanta Hawks 19-game winning streak being snapped by the Pelicans a week before Tuesday. They've been playing great basketball. The Hawks they've been moving the ball. That's what I like about this team. There's a lot of ball movement. There's a lot of ball movement. They move the ball. It's not. I always tell people it's not about that third pass. It's about that fourth, that fifth pass that's being set up for the right person to get the right shot. They always take the right amount of shots, and when that happens, that's when good things happen. So they just won 19 games. They went 17-0. They went 17-0 in 1 month. So that's great. Right now they just lead the Eastern Conference. They've been playing great basketball. I just love their chemistry they got. And also they made history too. Commissioner Silver gave the Hawks starting 5 NBA Player of the Month. That's a good thing. First time in history of the NBA that's happened. So that's really good. I commend the Hawks and what they do. It's really unexpected. A lot of people say, well, we didn't see this happening. I didn't see it happening. I knew the Hawks was good because, last season when they was playing the Pacers in that 7-game series, I was just looking at something. I was looking at some things. I said, this team is really, really good. They was just missing their captain. They're the centerpiece, Horford, that just brings everything together. And also the emergence of Jeff Teague. He's been stepping up. Just all the guys, Corver, the bench, Carroll, Mike Scott, and Millsap, and these guys. Okay, next thing I want to talk about also Kevin Love. Kevin Love's past few games, he's lost confidence in himself. Confidence in shooting. I think he just had 5 points shooting, 1 for 7 shooting. That's unacceptable for a person of his ability and playing. People always say he's just he's being more of a spot-up shooter or pick and pop player. Well, the way Cleveland runs their system, really, they don't have time to really go down and dump the ball to him for him to create, because I think that's keep the offense stagnant. When they do run pick and roll plays, Kevin Love is not necessarily a person that's going to pop and roll straight to the basket all the time. Most likely it's going to be a screen for him to step back and shoot. But he did have a great game against the Lakers, scored season high. But I tell people, don't expect too much out of it. They call him the Chris Bosh. They call him the Chris Bosh Part 2 of what they're doing. But Kevin Love, like I always tell people, he's a very smart player. If he gets low points and a low, he'll do other little things. He'll make the right pass. He'll get the double figure of rebounds. So he actually is doing other things. Just not scoring. That's the thing when you on a polarizing team and you with another polarizing figure like LeBron James. Also, we got to talk about Paul George. Paul George may come back. I think that's more of smoke and mirrors, really, because I don't think that he'll be coming back. I know he'll be okay, but I don't think the Pacers organization, I doubt it they'll just bring him back. Even the Pacers do make the playoffs. They're a few games out, from eighth, and the Nets and Charlotte is down there with terrible records. So this is a possibility. If they do make the playoffs, would Paul George play? That's another thing. I doubt it. I still doubt that he would play, even though he probably wants to and he's probably healthy. But I think Pacers management, they really want to keep, because he's the centerpiece. And you got a lot invested in him. He got the contract extension, so you can't have Paul George out for this out there playing, and he's coming back from that horrific injury, and he didn't really have time. I mean, he's healing, but you got to give it some other time to heal, like over the summer. Then he could come back next year for training camp. And speaking of other injuries, Dwight Howard's out for a month. His knee procedure, and well, like I said, I'm not too much a big fan of Dwight Howard. He is a good player. I think Houston will not necessarily miss him as much because of what a lot of the things they do, but they will be missing his rebounding, his lot of activity around the basket as he's done in games that he has played. But I think Houston overall, with a collection of talent, can easily make up the slack of missing Dwight Howard, because right now it is James Harden's team. James Harden is the best player. He's one of the leading candidates for MVP. So Dwight Howard's being out is a negative for them, but I wouldn't say it's too much of a negative where it will be a detriment of what they're trying to do and a lot of things they have running down there. Speaking of Phil Jackson, he came out and said that his experiment with the New York Knicks is an utter failure. Do I think so? No, I don't think so. The expectations they have this year, yeah. I think, of course, they have they had the talent. They had a new coach in with a new system, but it just didn't work. I think Phil Jackson, he made miracles to get certain players out, and people are just saying, well, listen, if they had Tyson Chandler, you don't know what would happen. Okay, you don't know what would happen. You can't just go by what Tyson Chandler is doing in Dallas, the way he's done in New York. Okay, because what they run in Dallas and the things that they do in Dallas obviously wouldn't have benefit him if he was running the triangle offense. They try to compare him, say, oh, he would have been like Dennis Rodman. No. There's a lot of different things that run the triangle and things like that. And I don't think Tyson Chandler is not a player suited in the triangle offense, and he knows that himself. And he's actually was on record saying that. So I always tell people, listen, it's not about you putting people out there and they're playing basketball. Oh, let them know the plays and everything like that. Okay, you can learn the plays, but you gotta be in sync with the plays. It gotta be coming natural to you, not you overthinking it and you're going out there and then you're making errors. Oh, Brandon Jennings was on Twitter. He said LeBron James said that when things get tough, LeBron James keeps running. Well, I kind of don't agree with Brandon Jennings. I mean, he's just a little blunt in what he says. He just, necessarily speaking from the mouth and things like that. People really say, oh, he's mad because he swept them. And listen, Brandon Jennings ain't really thinking about that. He's trying to get himself back ready so he can be playing next year. But that's what he feels. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. But I don't think that's from LeBron. I think LeBron does what LeBron is going to do, and LeBron thinks about himself, thinks about his family, and he wants to be comfortable and the best situations for him. So right now, him in Cleveland is the move from him. So if he doesn't want to be in Cleveland, he wants to go to another team, then he can do whatever he wants. He'll be a free agent. After this season, maybe he'll sign on again, and then maybe come back. We don't know. We were saying Jimmy Butler. He's taking blame for Chicago Bulls defensive deficiencies. I commend him because it's rare you ever find a player wants to take blame. He doesn't want them to blame the coach, doesn't want them to blame Derrick Rose, don't want to blame injuries to Noah and these guys, and don't blame Pau Gasol because he's new. Jimmy Butler is saying it's all on him. All on him. And that speaks volumes for me because he wasn't supposed to have the season. Theoretically, he's not supposed to have the season he's having right now. He was necessarily a low double-digit scorer, around 11, 12 a game. Now he's averaging over 20 and he's an all-star. Clearly, he's been playing the best basketball on the team, on the Bulls. So this, he's coming into his own as a leader, and that's what I think that's what the Bulls need. I think the Bulls just need that overall leader. I think Rose leads by example. Joakim Noah's very vocal, but he hasn't been vocal too much this season. Pau Gasol's more of a laid-back person. But Jimmy Butler coming out to the media and taking blame is real big. Also in Orlando, Jacques Vaughn, he was fired after 2.5 seasons with the Magic. Do I agree with the firing? I don't think so. I think they had high expectations of them making the playoffs. Orlando did start off well. They started off the first month or so well, around floating around that 8th spot. But I think things kind of fell apart with them. I think when Oladipo came back, and just things just fell totally apart on that team. I think Jacques Vaughn, I think he deserved to finish the season because I think he did help these kids develop their games, know what it is. But I think putting it all together wasn't what he was trying to do. He didn't just put it all together where he put the thing together as a team, and the team cohesively know this is your role, this is your role, this is your role, this is your role. I think they go in a game-to-game basis. Well, this guy does this guy does that, and that's not cohesive enough to get wins because every team got to have a role of what they playing in this league. So I think that's why they just decided just get rid of him. But he's always been a great assistant coach. Some guys as great assistants, great teachers. I think he taught these young guys well. I think the next guy that comes into the job is going to do a good job because they got some good players on that team. They got Peyton. They got Tobias Harris. If he stays or not, most likely I think they're going to re-sign him. They got Vujicic, Oladipo, O'Quinn, Channing Frye, other guys. So they still have a good team. CP3. He did critics. It was just funny. Just looking at it, I just laughed because I think the NBA and people are really just very sensitive with things he says. Listen, the guy said what he said, and he would have said it if it was a rookie coach, male or female, and that's how he is. I don't know him personally, but to what I've known, this is how he is. He's out there, he's angry. He told her, he says, well, why not so-and-so? And she said no, and then he's just saying, why not? And she's saying, most likely from what we read from her mouth, she's saying, well, it's over. It's done. Okay, you can't do it. And I think he going back to her and say, well, won't you give me an explanation on why? And she teed them up. And this is, she teed them up. And then he's just frustrated about it. He's frustrated. It's a big national game and things like that. And he's frustrated. So I think that issue with the ref, for things blown out of proportion. He was actually fined $25,000. I knew it was going to happen because things are just a little sensitive right now. People got to always be sensitive with certain things, and that's just I think something that's blown out of proportion. Speaking of, we're going to keep on the Clippers. Blake Griffin, he's going to be out for I think 3 weeks or so. Probably come back probably early March or so. Staph infection in the elbow. Now, staph infections is very, very, very serious injury because you have to clean it out. You got to make sure it heals properly. It can't get infected. This is a life-threatening injury because when people's lost limbs from staph infections, and you can even ask Grant Hill. Grant Hill lost Grant Hill lost almost 3 seasons to staph infections. And, it kind of hindered it, which could have been a Hall of Fame career. And God knows what it could have been done with Tracy McGrady if he would have healed correctly from the staph infections. But this is very, very serious. 3 weeks, they said he'll be back. Hopefully he'll be back in 3 weeks. They're going to need him, especially going down the stretch, coming into playoffs, because the Clippers right now, they're going to need him. But I think the collection of players there will be able to overcome certain things. I think their defensive efficiency needs to get better. They're kind of in the middle of the pack. But I feel that the Clippers, the Clippers, with him out, I think guys will step up in certain roles. They'll get more minutes. They'll get more shot opportunities. I think Chris Paul will have to galvanize the guys, and he's gonna have to get 20 or 10 a night, like he's done when he was with the Hornets. He has to get 20 and 10 a night. He has to make sure DeAndre Jordan gets double figures and double figure rebounds. I think he just had 27 rebounds last night. But they have to play like that. They have to oppose their will, and guys got to really come in and step up until Blake comes back. I'm going back to the Knicks. James Dolan, he's going off with a fan, and the fan said something to him, and then he just went on some rant, told the fan, listen, end of the day, whatever, he just, after, I don't want to go into it, it's just petty stuff, and he told him the roof for the Nets. I'm just laughing at James Dolan, man. This guy's an inept owner. I hope these guys do build that website of finding a new owner from the Knicks or whatever like that. I'll support them. Maybe I'll post something down below for you to just probably look at it, and if they're trying to get a billboard or anything like that. I mean, the Knicks need new ownership. Necessary, just a new direction from an owner. Because I think Phil is there, but they need clearly a new owner. Clearly a new owner. Just with new everything. Because I think the Knicks has been just atrocity. Just a damn atrocity. I don't like to say the D word, but they've just been atrocity. And, I get on a lot of Knicks fans, and they say I'm a Knicks hater. I'm not no Knicks hater. Listen. The NBA business is great when the Knicks is winning. It's great for everyone involved when the Knicks is winning. But when they're not winning and they're terrible because of bad decisions, it's just bad for basketball. But I'm just sick of Dolan. But like I said, Dolan's not going anywhere. So you Knicks fans is gonna have to deal with him as owner. Hopefully Phil Jackson can get turn things around with this summer, whatever like that. Going back to Ray Allen. We're gonna go to Ray Allen. See what is he doing? Ray Allen said he's going to make his decision after the All-Star break. What is he going to do? What team is he going to go to? Is he going to go to Memphis, Atlanta, Chicago, Cleveland, the Clippers? What else? Who else is out there? It's like 5 or 8, 9 teams that he could go to. 8, 9 teams he could go to. I think he just, like I said, he didn't want to do the whole training camp thing. It's respectable. He's at his advanced age, and he wanted more time with his children, everything like that. It's most likely it's going to be his last season. So you just want to go out with a bang, go to a contender, possibly see how far they can go, probably win a championship, and go out that way. He earned it. He's Jesus Ellsworth. He's an all-star, great player, one of the greatest shooters I've ever seen in the history of the NBA. And I don't know. My money is not on Cleveland. I think most likely he'll retire. I think he'll just retire. I think he'll just retire. And the last thing I got to talk about is George Karl. George Karl was in serious discussion with the Sacramento Kings. Now, this is just breaking news. here on February 10th that he did actually take the job. I think this is a good job. You know, you got Boogie, you got Cousins, DeMarcus Cousins down there, so that's a good building block centerpiece. George Karl is a coach that gets the best out of his players. You know, he'll get you to the playoffs. You know, he'll get you far into the playoffs too. If everything is working, he'll get you far in the playoffs. He's a great coach. The Kings right now, with that roster, they have the talent. It can work. But like I said, they need, because Mike Malone did a good job. You know, I talked to people about the firing. The owner, Vivek, like I said, he was a minority. Like I said, everybody knows he's a minority owner of Golden State Warriors. He just sees how the Warriors operate. He sees how everything is working from top to bottom. And he wants to kind of emulate that. But he wants a fun-free atmosphere in Sacramento, something like they had in the 2000s with with Chris Webber and D-Vox and Jason Williams and Bibby and these guys. So I think he wants to recreate that again. I think with DeMarcus Cousins, it's workable. They can do it. I think a lot of players on the roster is not equipped for that. So you got to be some changes in the off season. Also, Rudy Gay, you got to see because he's not very efficient, and you got to see where that goes. But I think George Karl can get the job done. He can definitely get the job done. I think he can get them to the playoffs, even though that Pacific Division is very, very dangerous with Golden State, the Clippers, and Phoenix Suns, who's all teams that's improving. And also, you still have the Lakers there at the bottom, but if the Lakers do some things this summer, they'll also be in the mix, and so that'll probably be a real dangerous division next year, with all of them competing and try to go to the playoffs. Okay, that's this week's thing on the NBA. If you got any questions or comments, speak below, and I will reply to anything you want me to talk about. Anything, just say it. I can talk about anything. Okay. Thanks for watching.